Chris Smith knows a thing or two about building your way to playing and what you're doing in the shadows when you're not playing on the field on Saturdays. He knows a lot about what that's like and how that matters. And a couple of days into spring practice, he spoke with reporters, and one of the things he talked about was how driven the team is right now. He says a lot of the guys on the team are very driven and hardworking. Being able to go out there and see the guys work day in and day out, that's the culture we've built here since day one. A lot of these guys have already have the mindset coming in, already have that mindset coming in, and the guys that have already been here, obviously, he's saying they already do. Chris Smith is one of the most admirable guys in Georgia's program. And this moment right here that's featured in Dawgstruction, you can pick up the book today. Make sure you're getting it so I can get it out to you before Father's Day and graduation. 80 page hardcover coffee table book that you'll have the rest of your life. Chris's work in the background during the 19 and 20 seasons really led to that moment, the moment where he undercut the pass from DJ Ugalele and took it to the house. Again, that play was set up by Nakobe Dean shooting around. I don't think he shot the gap. I talk about this in the book. I give a breakdown of it. It's right there. Kind of lays it out. But Nakobe came off the left side and pressured Ugalele. Chris came forward about 5 yards and to his right a little bit, and the ball was not a great. It was not a great throw to begin with. Here's another shot of Chris, by the way. That was just a moment of visceral excitement from Chris after taking it to the house because no one could score. I mean, that game was a dogfight and nobody could score. And Georgia wasn't themselves that night in many ways offensively. We knew later over time what was going on with JT Daniels. You do have to wonder if Stetson Bennett plays in that game. Do they win by more? Because they left some points on the table. But anyway, back to Chris Smith. Chris is an example of development over time at Georgia. He's an example of fighting your way while you're, in obscurity. No one knows anything about you. You're forgotten about. But we're seeing more and more that is a pattern at Georgia. Guys like Justin Schaefer. I can look at the list over here. Devontae, for sure. To some degree, Jordan Davis. But you're seeing over time, Chris is in here a lot. There's William Poole. These two guys played in the same high school. These two guys. And Keely Ringo takes off for the finish line there, and Kirby's going bonkers. It's a great book. You should make sure you're picking it up. But Chris is it's hard not to like Chris because of everything that he's gone through in his time at Georgia and the work that he's done with no guarantee that he would, play. I mean, you got to think about all the guys that were brought in along the way. Lewis Cine, Brini, um, there's been a lot of players. Ringo, I mean, they brought in Kimber, Kendrick, Speed. There's been a lot of guys in that secondary, but Chris has been pretty steady the entire time. What is people get used to that um, if guys don't immediately do something that they're kind of failures or busts. That's the wrong way to look at it. Particularly when guys have eligibility remaining. I mean, would you say that about Channing Tindall or Quay Walker? They were really important parts of Georgia's puzzle for a long time. Also, Chris Smith's going to be a multi-year starter at Georgia. I mean, that's the real deal there. And you want the most gifted guys. You do. And I'm not saying Chris isn't one of the most gifted guys. He obviously is a very gifted guy. But what's been undervalued there is that there is development. There's lead time with all this stuff. You um can't just roll guys out there. They do have to develop. They have to understand things. And in order to do the development, you've got to work hard. I mean, it's such a cliche. It really gets old talking about it or saying it. But if guys are not willing to work, it goes back to what Zion Logue said the other day. I tell guys if they don't want to work, don't come here, and they shouldn't. I mean, Georgia's a place right now that is a factory, but in factories you've got work being done. I mean, these guys are working, and there are no easy paths to playing time anymore. The guy over my right shoulder did not play in 2020. He had what? An injury. So he had to fight his way onto the field too. Now, would he have played in 2020? He might have some, but there were two guys that were drafted in the top 40 picks that were in front of him at that on those spots. There's no easy way here. I mean, like you're gonna have to fight your way onto the field, and that comes with doing a lot of the little stuff all of the time, being successful with it. It's not easy, and when you've been through that, you can teach that. So Chris has been able over the last few years been able to teach that. I mean, he was behind Richard LeCount for a while, and people, I think it's human nature to assume, well, why isn't this guy playing? If he's not playing, he's never going to play. That's not necessarily how it works. Everybody's not going to come on to the scene and just explode. Everybody is not everybody is not Brock Bowers. Okay, we don't know what Darnell Washington's future is going to be at Georgia. He could have a really big fall. We don't know. But all of it, no matter what, the reason why Bowers has had success, if you listen to people inside the program, is that he outworks people. I mean, like he just outworks probably everybody on the team, is my suspicion, and that he's uber gifted. It all adds up. And with Chris Smith, you've seen that, and I think the biggest thing for Chris is he's latched on to. He's got his starting job. He's going to have to keep it, which means he's got to do all the stuff that he did along the way and probably a little bit more. That's the hard part if you've got the job because the guys they brought in behind the guys they brought in to play in this 22 season, those younger guys in the secondary, they're really gifted. They are. But if they don't do the little stuff along the way, they won't have success. And honestly, y'all think about it. Think about me, you know, talking about this book all this much. You don't have this book without Chris Smith and Chris Smith's moment. I mean, maybe Georgia probably still wins that Clemson game, but Chris goes down in history because of his moment in time. You know, that Chris will always be remembered at Georgia. I said it that night and I say it again. That was a huge deal for Chris and for everybody involved. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you over on the website.